If you're moving out of Illinois, and sadly many are, and purchasing a new home where you're moving next, you need to use Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. That's the smart call to make. David would like to congratulate the great state of Illinois for achieving second place in the United Van Lines annual outbound moving report, which is up from fourth place last year. Wait, that's not good, right? Selling your existing home and purchasing a new one can be overwhelming. So why stress over a new mortgage? Team Hochberg has originated thousands of mortgages all over the country from their Chicago offices. In addition to helping listeners secure new mortgages, Team Hochberg can also refer you to a trusted local realtor who will help sell your current home. If you're leaving Illinois, call Team Hochberg for help selling your home and get pre-approved for a new mortgage. Team Hochberg has helped me help thousands of my podcast listeners do things like secure mortgage on new homes after they leave the state. But guess what? They can't help if they don't talk to you, and you can't talk to you if you don't call. So make the first move. 312-855-56-DAVID or 56david.com, and tune into Home Sweet Home Chicago, hosted by David Hochberg, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on AM 720 WGN. Homeside Financial is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 1124061. This is a special edition. It's an after-school special of Live from My Office. I welcome my very good friends, John DaCosse, Tim Benker, and Mike Toomey. The men of a certain rage are here for a blatant plug for our upcoming stand-up comedy show and other things that we plan on discussing. Mike, are you still doing that TV thing, or have you given up on that?
No, still doing it. Monday through Friday, as it stands right now. Looking to expand, but for now, we're just doing the 5 days. Yes, sir.
And that's on Channel 9, I hear?
Yes.
And Mike, if I'm not mistaken, Channel 9 does about 19 hours worth of news in a 24 hour.
Yeah, they're looking to add the 20th. It's up in the air right now, but right. I'm going to be the anchor from 2 to 3 a.m.
Wow, that's good. That's a solid choice by you. And that's on WGN TV, which you can
Mike,
find on TV.
Yes.
Sorry, Mike, are you Oliver or which one? Who are you?
Andy Starr.
Andy Starr. Got it.
Tremendous.
I'm the new Andy Starr.
There you go. Then I pull him for you. John DaCosse, national touring stand-up comedian, currently sitting in his home. And what are you up to, John? Where do you want to plug?
I am nationally touring. I'm going to Des Moines in 2 weeks at the Funny Bone in Des Moines. Which will be a lot of fun. And then what do we got? Oh, I'll be at Zanies doing a week of work there coming up as well. So yeah, just keep him busy. I
would tell people to follow you on social media, but you don't like social media. So I guess I'd suggest if they know where you live, just come to your house.
Literally,
just come to the house.
Just follow him around.
Yeah, follow him to his house, and then when he gets out of the car, say, "John, where are you appearing next?"
You can telegraph me too.
Cutting edge.
And if somebody telegraphs you too much, then you have to tell them to stop.
That's right. That's exactly it. Because that costs money.
But you're saying stop.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just going through my Morse code stuff this morning. I had so many fans who loved the last show I did, so I was pretty pumped.
Well, I think we can all agree it's a pain in the ass to get your horse out and go down to the Wells Fargo office to pick those up.
Right.
Especially this time of year.
I'm telling you, if somebody just tuned in now, it's like, did they have Zoom in the 30s?
No.
That's the voice of Tim Benker. Funny man. And and also
more funnies.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll get back there. And a hotshot businessman as well. But we don't really care about plugging businesses. We care about plugging Tim Benker and Men of a Certain Rage. Hi, Tim.
Hi. There's our big logo for we got our upcoming show at Rosemont Zanies. There's the A right there. Well, here.
Yeah, for those of you only listening on audio, Tim is pointing over his shoulder to a snappy logo of a middle-aged fat guy next to the words "Men of a Certain."
Actually, that's my wife. That silhouette. She helped out.
Awkward.
I thought this was going to be on like CNN or something. This whole broadcast.
Yes. CNN Digital. Yeah, CNN Digital call. They said we have got to get a piece of what you four are up to. So, John, show is Sunday. I don't know when people are hearing this, but the show is Sunday, February 20th. Tell them more.
It is Sunday, February 20th at Rosemont Zanies. We are actually taping this performance, recording this performance, taping. That's men of a certain age right there. We are recording this. It's a lot of fun, but it's a 7:00 show, the four of us. We just want everybody to have a good time. Here's how easy we're going to make this. For all of From My Office listeners, you just go to zanies.com, click on Rosemont, put in the code word RAGE, and you will get a free ticket to come see us on Sunday night.
It's great.
And we're worth free.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, do any restrictions apply, John?
You mean to the four of us?
I mean,
Well, you will still have to pay. I think there's a little service fee, but that comes into play with everything nowadays. And then the 2-drink minimum, but the rest, the ticket is free. This is normally a $30 ticket that goes down to free.
free.
That's great.
Free.
That's great.
Free. Yes.
The offer is void where prohibited.
And
No, prohibited people are not allowed in.
Are we going to live stream this around the globe?
You know what? I forgot about that. Yes. You can also, Lee, way to go, Steve. I forgot about that. It will be live streamed. So you don't even have to leave your house, although that benefits us with like nothing and no free tickets to live streaming. So you have to pay for those tickets, but you can do that at zanies.com, and you can live stream it and sit at home. You don't even have to leave.
Is there a 2-drink minimum at their house? Like, do they have to pay whoever lives with them money for those 2 drinks?
Yeah, they do. They do. Somebody in the house would have to service, and they have to tip them too. It's too involved. Come to the show.
Yeah, it is. And it's a beautiful club. It's a Rosemont, the Rosemont Entertainment Center, which I love that new mime shop they put in, which is fantastic.
A mime shop.
Yeah. It's a place where you go in, you buy your mime swag, your mime gear. You can go in, you can get wind you can walk against. You can get an invisible box.
And you know what it's called? It's called the Mime Shaft. That's the name of the gift shop.
I was spacing on the name.
The Mime Shaft, where you go to get your wind and walking. Sorry.
Now, on this particular show, I can't remember. Are we going to be broadcasting to our friends on Armed Forces Radio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, they won't be listening.
But we'll be.
We are going to send a signal.
Right. And which is kind of cool. I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because the Glenn Miller Orchestra will also be backing us up to open it up.
Great. That's great.
So speaking of Vladimir Putin, how about that whole Ukraine thing? Tim, thoughts?
It's wacky. They're out of their minds. Their minds have left their body.
No, we thought.
I say sanctions.
We thought we'd kick around a few things that we talk about in the green room, and just stuff that you talk about as well. For instance, the Super Bowl commercials, which they've been ruined for me to some degree because you get them a week ahead of time now. They're online, and then I blame Channel 9's highly rated #1 morning news as well, because you guys play these days before the actual Super Bowl. It used to be cool to have to wait during the game and then be surprised or disappointed by the commercials. Do you guys share that, or do I need to grow the hell up?
I agree with you. I think they should pay less if they get leaked out somehow. I mean, that's the whole idea, is to see it for the first time during that game. Last week, I got to show a couple commercials that ran during Super Bowl I, 1967.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
It's really funny. They were both, one was for a razor and one was for shaving cream. So it was like obviously limited demographic in their own.
You know what's so funny about that, Mike? I saw that and I remember who was that? Green Bay Packers and Kansas City, right? No.
Correct.
Yes,
it was
right.
Packers and
Kansas
I
City,
remember
Green Bay, Oakland was the following year.
Yeah, I think, and I remember my parents, we watched that, and my dad ran right out to the drugstore and got Anacin headache powders because of the commercials.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Wow.
There wasn't as much nudity or suggested sex in those commercials, really.
No. There were two sponsors.
Yeah.
Oh, those were it. They just rotated those two spots.
Gillette and High Karate.
Hey, this,
My dad wore High Karate.
what, the sex showed up when they did the Noxzema commercials. Remember they used to have the hot women rubbing shaving
Joe
cream?
Namath did those.
Oh
commercials.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was years after that first Super Bowl. 2
Mhm.
years after that first Super Bowl. High Karate was, gasoline, and my father would slap it on, and I thought it'd be great when I was probably in 5th or 6th grade to put it on. And I got on the bus, and the bus driver, who was this little redneck guy named Fred, went, "Boy, do you stink!" So I knew it was going to be a long day at Dryden Elementary School. You guys ever do that? You ever think, my dad wears this or my dad does this, I'm going to try it.
Yeah, Old Spice is what my dad had.
He
And
was
I don't know if you
ahead of
know
his
it.
time.
Remember Old Spice?
Sure.
Yeah, that's the same smell that they put in the gas, so you know it's leaking in your house.
Yeah.
It keeps away the mosquitoes and the neighbors and women. So yeah, that's the stuff my dad used.
My dad never used any of it, but for Christmas we would buy it for him. And you could just, you looking back now, you'd see him looking, oh, gee, thanks. I'm never going to put this myself. English leather.
I know.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Was
Absolutely.
Jade East one a cologne?
That was actually a hooker that
Was
you
that a
hired
hooker?
in Des Moines the last time.
Because I spent a lot of money on Jade East.
And they named the high school after her.
Yes.
In Des Moines.
Well, I
Jade.
went to Jade West.
Yeah, right.
The other thing that has nothing to do with the Super Bowl that is a reminder from this, you guys have never noticed this, but I have these dark circles under my eyes. They don't really stand out at all. And, other than the fact that raccoons run up to me and think that I'm family. And my mother used an early version of oil of Olay age spot, cream or remover or whatever the hell it was. So I get to be like 13. I'm thinking, this is seriously hurting me with the babes, the dark circles under my eyes. So I took a bunch of oil of Olay. I probably put about 4 pounds of it under each eye. Immediately had an allergic reaction and my head puffed up to the size of a weather balloon. And of course, because this would have been in the 70s, my parents did what your parents would have said or would have done. They said, yeah, you're going to school. So I went to school with my giant puffed up allergic head and I had to make up some terrible story.
So when do you think the swelling will go down?
I don't want to give you comedy tips, but if you'd only be able to get through that. I don't know, John, we're waiting.
I'm so okay.
We're waiting.
You set me up.
I get tested.
Me up.
I get
You
tested.
threw him a beach ball, Steve. No pun.
That was a floating balloon. Is what that was.
So of the Super Bowl commercials, the greats, through the years, it'd probably stand out. Everybody loves the Budweiser commercials. There we're back for this last the Super Bowl. And then the forgettable ones, like the companies from the first internet swing to now. But one of the commercials that happened, and it's a company I don't know that we'll ever hear of again, was for a crypto company. And it was Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm, being the grumpy old guy, speaking of men of a certain age, who hated everything.
Shut down every good idea in history.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
That was a very, very good commercial. Very, very Larry David.
But I honestly don't know that I remember any of the other products.
Well,
it's funny. You don't remember the product. You remember the commercial.
Yeah. But I don't like the commercials for one particular reason, because then, especially with the high ticket items, you have the electric Silverado. I'll never have one of those. The electric BMW, Salma Hayek. I'll never have any of that.
Well, don't let yourself off the bridge.
Well,
Selma Hayek.
Speaking of Salma Hayek, I loved the commercial with her and with Arnold.
Schwarzenegger. Yeah, that was the
charging
BMW.
everybody. Yeah, that was great.
Right.
See, who were the two that did the guy from Saturday Night Live and
Seth Rogen and
no, they did I think it was the Alexa commercial where Alexa tells them what they're really thinking.
Oh, it's Colin. It's Colin.
Yes.
And
Colin
Scarlett Johansson, his wife, and that actually is very funny. Yeah, it was very funny. Scarlett Johansson would.
You know what's so funny? Can you see this? I said that, and she started talking to me.
Yeah, there you go. It's the world we live in now.
She's like, I think I found what you're looking for. No, not now.
Yeah,
but the Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd one was funny too, I thought.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So I do like
overall, is there a way to save the commercial franchise for the Super Bowl? I don't know how you fix it, man. Cat's out of the bag. Kids want to see them online on their phones first. Yeah. There's no more surprise. You can now pee during here's the thing. If you think on the week leading up to the Super Bowl that you might have to pee during the game, no problem. Just watch all the commercials and pee at your own pace on your own time. That's my advice to you.
Well, I think commercials are going to be a thing of the past anyway, in the form they are now, especially if you got a streaming service. You may get the promos in between.
Yeah.
That the commercials, it may end up being longer and more elaborate in between the TV program or the movie that you're streaming. But yeah, I think commercial TV and the commercials it's going to be a thing of the past pretty soon.
Could you imagine between quarters, it's a half-hour infomercial for My Pillow?
Right.
Buy it now.
With the lunatic. There's
Harry Carey sold My Pillows, John.
Oh, sorry.
I would like to see small local businesses, like each year for one Super Bowl. I'd like them to give a local business in the home city a commercial.
Mm-hmm. That's a good call.
Nate's Pizza Shack.
Yeah,
right? Something like that. So I've thought that for a long time, and it turns out I must have stolen the idea because there's a documentary on Hulu now about Dana Carvey's show that is maybe the greatest writer's room since Sid Caesar's Show of Shows. This is when Colbert and Carell were young and nobody knew them. Louis C.K. and Triumph, the comic insult. I can't think of the guy's name.
Smigel.
Yeah, right. Robert Smigel.
Yeah, Robert Smigel. They were all the people behind Dana Carvey's show, and the documentary on Hulu. I'd recommend it. It's called Too Funny to Fail, and in that show, the first bit they did, and it was a really hype show because Dana Carvey,
big rabbit guy.
Dana Carvey was on the cover of Rolling Stone, and all the weirdest shit happened that could have ruined it, including Disney bought ABC while they were writing the show. And the lead up to the first show, I think this is like 1998, maybe. So he's coming off of SNL. He's very hot. He's the guy. He's got all these incredible talents as writers. In the first bit they push, and Dana Carvey says, it seems a little strong. Maybe not, but he's not a real confrontational guy. The first bit is the president of the United States, Clinton, played by Dana Carvey, with fake boobs breastfeeding America. And unbuttoning his shirt and the whole deal. And keep in mind, this is 4 years ago. So everybody went nuts. Now they had the old 50s model for sponsors. So they had a title sponsor for the show. The title sponsor canceled. They were able to get another one for the second week. The whole thing only ran like 8 weeks. And the 8th show, they had a local business, like a taco shop in LA or New York, I forget, that was actually the sponsor for the show. I don't know if they ever charged them. But that's my concept. That's my concept. A local
but I have a question.
Gets publicity.
I have a question, because if you saw the halftime show, they had that set out there, and they had one of the cubicles said like Nick's Pizza or something like that. Was that something local for LA?
I don't know. Could have been. Don't know.
I mean, they kind of jumped on that. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
Give somebody the big publicity on Super Bowl Sunday.
Speaking of
Northwest carpet cleaning,
Northwest carpet cleaning. I don't know who runs that, but I hear
the whole Super Bowl should be Northwest carpet cleaning.
I think so too.
The Northwest carpet cleaning Super Bowl. Forget about those Roman numerals. That's what you need.
Exactly.
So speaking of the halftime show, mixed reviews. Everybody under the age of 40 seemed to like it. Everybody over the age of 40 went, have I taken my meds? Does anybody remember if I took my meds? I love Snoop Dogg. And I like Dr. Dre. Kendrick Lamar was a part of that. Who am I?
Eminem.
Mary J. Blige.
Fitty.
And Eminem.
Fitty.
Yeah, and
Eminem.
50 Cent. 50 Cent came in. So I liked it. Do you guys like it?
I felt like I'm in that. I know there's a lot of people that have the same thought as me, where it's like, that's not my favorite kind of music, but I found it to be entertaining.
Yep.
Like Eminem, I know one Eminem song, and he did it. So
He did it.
you know,
I was going to say
that's the only
it.
one of his songs that I recognize, and he did it. I thought it was entertaining. The set looked cool. Choreographed well. It was enjoyable. I don't own any of those any music of any of those artists, but I was entertained by it.
Yeah, my favorite part of that whole thing was the overhead shot where you saw like the city of LA. I don't even know how they did that. It's just like the road with all the lights and everything. I thought, God, that's pretty cool. But yeah, my guy, it's so funny. It's the only song I know from Eminem, and it's a good song.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really good. But I
just think
men of a certain age, I don't understand it.
The whole concept of it is funny, because when you think the very first one, we talk about the first Super Bowl halftime show was Up with People.
Yes.
We've come a long way since 1967.
Well, and if you look at the Wikipedia page for the Super Bowl, and I do, because that's kind of guy I am. Up with People did about 7 of them. They kept being asked back, and it was around 1990, maybe the late 80s, when the Super Bowl halftime show got big. All right, so what do we think the deal is with Snoop? Because Snoop is about as popular as anybody in America. And I love him. I think he's great. But it's I don't quite get why he's as great as he is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not slamming Snoop. I like you, Snoop. I know how you listen to Live from My Office, but I don't entirely get why he's as big as he is.
I think he's more of a character than anything else. I don't think of him as a rapper. I think he's a character. He shows up in movies. He shows up on commercials.
Exactly. Yeah. He's a personality. Yeah. He has a certain charm about him, I think. When you see him in movies, he's always funny or good in the movies that he's in. He has a wider appeal than just that of a.
I was going to say, he crossed over into mainstream with whether it's commercials or Martha Stewart. I mean, he's kind of, give him credit. He's kind of everywhere. I remember that, I think it was Super Bowl II. They did a commercial for, I think it was Don Knotts and Tim Conway promoting the Apple Dumpling Gang. And I didn't get that.
Well, but it was a little too hip for the room at that point. So I think we can agree. By the way, Snoop did the Puppy Bowl with Martha Stewart before he did the halftime show with Dr. Dre. Oh, that's a pretty big leap.
Yeah. I had a lot of money on that game too.
Okay.
Did you have the Shih Tzu?
Yes. After I lost the bet. Yeah.
I knew that was
Appreciate you not stepping on it.
Here's a little something interesting about the Super Bowl halftime show. You would think, right, that they would bring a crew with them to set that stage up, literally set the stage, correct?
Sure.
Okay. I saw listened to an interview with Madonna years ago saying that they have 8 minutes to set that stage. They don't bring in a crew. They use locals. They get people who are in the area to build this gigantic stage that the entire world is watching. It's just odd to think that, right? That they would just trust.
Sure.
Yeah. Anybody around here that can hammer screws into a board?
They drive over to Home Depot.
Right. Wow, I didn't know that. It is amazing
some kind of skill, right? Because you got to put that up and take that down in like no time.
Yeah, that may be different now, but that's what she said when she did it. It was a local crew that they
were you playing Truth or Dare with her?
I was, and and she said that was true.
Okay.
So you guys we're talking about early halftime shows. There's a group called the Never Miss a Super Bowl Gang. And there's 3 of them that are still alive. They're all older than 80. And they were interviewed before. They still pay face value because the NFL doesn't really have enough money to give them tickets. And these 3 guys who are left showed up at the game. And they were interviewed prior to it in various places. But the 85-year-old was asked about the halftime entertainment. And he said, yeah, I'm not that much into that sort of music. But I remember back in the day, they had 2 college bands and a basket of pigeons they'd let loose. And he said, but I'll tell you what, if they bring Diana Ross back, that would really be great. I'd love to see that again.
Do you know who's doing it next year? At least what I've heard.
Paul
Al
Conrad
Jolson,
from
Al Jolson.
You know what's funny though?
Must be one of those holograms.
Yeah.
I think about this with my dad.
One of those really offensive holograms.
I think about this with my dad working for Wilson for all those years. And we made a list. We went back and looked at all the halftime entertainers. The list, and my dad had all those Super Bowls. The list of people that he saw in his resume, nobody would ever, you could never figure that that's who he's, his list was that long. Right. And I can't get tickets to see Gilbert O'Sullivan, but this guy.
Maybe he'll do the Super Bowl next year.
I think he's up for it.
To get that energy going, he could do
come on.
Again.
A little while now. Come on, everybody. When you're not feeling any less sour.
You know what I don't like about a Gilbert O'Sullivan show is when he crowd surfs and they drop him, because at his age, you could kill him.
You pick him up by his hair.
Nobody asked what I thought of the halftime show.
Well, that's because before we started recording, you said, and I quote, "Don't ask me about the halftime show."
That was me setting you up.
Okay. Hey, Tim, what did you think of the halftime show?
Don't ask.
Good night, everybody.
I actually, by the request of my wife, we turned on Ted Lasso.
Wow. Okay. All right. Best halftime show you ever saw? I can go first on this. Prince. And it happened to be the Bears and Colts Super Bowl in Miami. When he sang Purple Rain in the middle of a monsoon at the game in Miami. Bruno Mars was great as well.
He was.
Yeah, I would say, I'll throw Paul McCartney in there too.
That was my call. That was what I was going to say. I like the McCartney one. Yeah.
I would go with Michael Jackson.
I don't remember the Michael Jackson halftime show. I mean, I'm sure he did it. I don't remember. Was it in the 90s?
Yeah, he was promoting the apple dumpling.
So it was a very early version.
Do you remember the one year that Peter McCann did the halftime show?
Do you want to make love?
He had one hit, but he sang it twice. And it was really good.
Now I have to look this up.
And everybody dressed like him. Peter McCann looks exactly like a basketball coach that I had in high school. So it's extra funny to watch that video.
Sure. You sure it's not him?
Yeah, I asked him. It's not him. But he admitted that because he was on Facebook, and a guy that I played basketball with said, "This looks like Coach Wright." And then all of a sudden, Coach Wright chimed in and said, "Oh, my God, it does."
1993 was Michael Jackson's Super Bowl performance. He came out with the glove and the whole thing.
In 1993, did he awkwardly hit on the youngest performers that were in front of the stage?
Small boys. He had, he had them all. Yeah.
Okay.
They had a musical from his bedroom.
All right. So name a celebrity you'd like to see in a Super Bowl commercial that hasn't done it.
Gilbert O'Sullivan.
All right. Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Peter McCann.
Appreciate you guys working hard on
Who were the guys that did the Macarena song? I love it.
I don't remember because playing it as a disc jockey, it did such damage. I wanted to just wipe it from my hard drive.
I'd like to see Meryl Streep in a commercial.
She done one? She must have done one.
I don't know. She's so funny. She's such a great actress, but she's also funny.
Hey, my latest funny favorite, I love Andy Samberg a lot. I think he would be good in a Super Bowl commercial in some way, shape, or form.
Honestly, I was surprised, and I would like to see him in a commercial, though obviously there's a reason he's not. And I'd like to see him only in a commercial and never in anything else. Trump.
Oh.
In a Super Bowl commercial.
Trump. I think if you pitch Trump with, we're going to do a Super Bowl commercial, and he would not hear anything beyond that. And it turns out you're doing sort of the Larry David thing. It's for failing businesses, and Trump's in charge of all of them. He'd sign up. He'd be all in.
He'd be good on a Charmin commercial because look, it flushes. It actually flushes all the way down.
Right.
I know it would be a beautiful commercial.
Right. You know why? Because people are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are actually sick. All right, how you guys feeling? Your health all right? Everybody feeling good?
Yes, so far so good.
So, John, everything good in your world? No COVID?
Yeah, I just I had my blood test. I go for my
Your
and
what?
everything came out good. The what, Mike?
You said blood test?
Blood test.
Yes.
Where my levels are, and I get a big testosterone shot on Thursday, lower blocking.
We have been asking you to do that for 30 years.
Yeah.
I know.
Slow it down.
I know.
And are you going to have the pair installed as well?
I'm sorry, we're going to have what?
The pair installed?
The pair.
Yes, the pair, the two things.
Are you going to have nuts, John? Are you going to put nuts in?
No. Listen,
Tim wants to know if you're going to add.
I just had my period, so don't want to mess with me. You don't want to mess with me. So, and by the way, at the show on Sunday, I will be introduced as Helen. I will be identified as Helen. So please, respect that.
John, she, her.
John, she, her, Helen.
And I know what Helen would look like. Do you ever remember this? Zanies, Mount Prospect. Remember Dina, who used to run the club?
Yeah.
She was bored one day and she took the flyer from Mount Prospect Zanies, had pictures of the comedians on it, and she drew on all of them to make them look like they were women. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And what did you say about yours when you looked at yours?
It looked just like my sister.
Yes.
I remember that. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much I looked like my sister.
But she did such a nice job with that. That was
actually she did. Yeah, that's so funny. God, your memory, Mike, you're amazing.
See, this is why we tell you this is what we do in the green room before a show. We just sit around, we talk about these type of stupid things.
That's pretty much it.
It's important that you know these things.
Right.
John, any help?
I say the stupid things on stage sometimes.
John, what Tim said there is he thinks you should get nuts. Nuts.
Like crazy? Just go crazy? I'll do that.
Let's get nuts.
John,
I don't have the testicular fortitude to have nuts. So.
I was in a band called Testicular Fortitude. So, John, do you have any thoughts on where America is health-wise right now?
I think we've seen the light at the end of the tunnel, don't you? I mean, we're COVID and we closed down. I think for comedy, I was a little nervous because everything hit, and I'll ask all of you. We never went that long without performing, and then all of a sudden we're not performing for a long time. Right. And then it opened up a little bit, and then it closed again, and now everybody's trying to stay open. But I think that mask mandate is that the 28th?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that'll be a big difference. Because I even remember, if you remember, there was a little time, you can refresh my memory, where we didn't have to wear the mask.
Yeah, it was summer.
It was the summer. And it was like, wow, this is pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
Crowds were better. It was better.
Yep.
And it would be nice. It would be nice.
So. I think it's coming to an end, the COVID. We flew down to Florida and nobody had a fit on the plane. So I think it's kind of winding down.
I got to say.
Was the plane full?
Yes.
Yeah. And I got to say, our standards have changed. There wasn't a riot on the plane. Felt like
right. But I think it is. I think we're getting better. I think it's good.
And now you can pick the people who should wear a mask all the time, though. They start.
Yes.
Do you have people in your life that you've only known since the mask period, and you don't even know what they look like from the nose down?
What are you, crazy? Meet new people?
I have people like that. I don't think there are people who I know who I've never seen without wearing a mask.
Wow.
That's so funny, Mike, because there's a local shop here, antique shop in West Dundee, and I have been there a dozen times. And you were absolutely right. I'd never thought about that, but they have always had their mask on. I would not recognize them without the mask.
Right.
I wouldn't even know I'd be like, you are. Yeah. So that's a good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they have dating services, right? Because if you'd gone to a bar to pick people up in the last year, that could be quite a reveal.
All right.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Yeah, that's really interesting.
And it will be shocking to see people in public who don't.
Did you just
Nobody's wearing a mask.
You just hit a straight of puberty that you forgot back in the day or something like that?
Yeah, it will be.
No, the dog just sat on my lap.
Let's hear.
No,
Come on, let's hear.
I was joking. The dog didn't sit on my lap.
Uh-huh.
I know.
I just evoked Mr. Haney.
Or Peter Brady.
Yes.
It's a genuine poodle. So Tim, how about your Valentine's Day? How was that?
Valentine's Day was great. My wife and I waved to each other. We had a romantic dinner with our 19-year-old. It was great. And we watched Ted Lasso.
And fell asleep.
When you say 19-year-old, do you mean your mistress?
No.
I thought she was the Swedish girl, right?
That's Dylan.
That's what I thought.
No, Dylan, Dylan, our son.
So Valentine's Day now is a little different than it used to be.
Yes, it was. I mean, oh my God. I remember when you were in school? First of all, everybody got a card. Everybody would get candy. You'd make crafts at school for your mother and you bring them home and she would cry and she would love it and and now it's just like, yeah, hi. Yeah, I've known you a long time. Nice to see you. Let's watch Ted Lasso.
You know what? First of all, let me correct you. We did not get candy. We got little pieces of chalk.
Yes. It had a message on it.
Now I eat candy. Now I'll buy candy. But back then, that's not candy.
You didn't eat the little cinnamon red hearts?
Uh-uh.
Oh, those were spicy, baby.
The tiny hearts with the words on them. Does anybody know? Was it Peter Dinklage that did the etching on those? Who did the words on them?
Oh my God.
The other night on Valentine's Day, I asked my wife if she wanted to see my Peter Dinklage, and she declined.
For those of you who haven't heard the Men of a Certain Age yet, Tim is the only one working blue looking for an HBO special.
Yes.
But it is different now. The Super Bowl is different now. Life is different now. Yet we haven't changed a bit.
No.
Except for the fact that we're old.
I look the same as I did yesterday.
Yes. I was going to say that. And I didn't even see you yesterday.
I'll vouch
Thank you.
for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of OGs with low T,
OG and low
with
T.
ED, and we got to pee.
Hey, Tim, are you reading something off a page?
Yeah.
Sorry. Are you?
Nobody can see this.
I know.
Speaking of that and the rapping, when they were doing that halftime show, it occurred to me that I didn't know how old Eminem was. He's 49.
Yeah. And I think Dre is 55.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Snoop, who looks 75, is 50.
He's like 53, right?
Is he? Yeah, early 50s.
Get out.
Yeah.
Oh, he must buy his pot from Willie Nelson because, man.
And Mary J. Beige, I think, is that right?
No, it's Blige, actually. It's Blige.
Blige?
Oh, just to be clear, you're beige, she's Blige.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. But, I think there's a lesson for the kids there, right? Because Snoop looks like Snoop does because that's what gang banging will do to you. It ages you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think hanging out with Martha Stewart didn't do him too good either.
That's my explanation for aging anyway.
So I did see some highlights, of course. I didn't totally not see the halftime, but you had Snoop and Dre and Mary J. Were there like 5 or 6 of these performers?
Yeah, 5, 5 men.
But there were 10 zillion dancers.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Why do you have to have so many? If I remember, Paul McCartney sat at a piano and played and sang.
I don't know. I mean, every show I remember, at least in the past 20 years, they do put the crowd out on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Was the crowd out there?
They were like standing up like around the stage, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the dancers themselves, people who are actually practice and are a part.
Up on the set.
Yeah. The whole visual thing.
What was really weird to me is they had all this rap power, and then at one point, speaking of the piano, Dre sat down and played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or something. Like we're supposed to. What a what a party stop that was. It's like, my God. And now,
what would have been cool?
They didn't drive away in the cars either, did they?
No, but the cars were stolen, because I know what your next thought was going to be.
Wow. Men of a certain racist? Is that what you are?
So here's the thing I thought the NFL might do, because the NFL, is historically concerned since the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction, here's my nipple, of doing the right thing at the halftime. I seriously thought they'd bring in an act that didn't quite fit. And maybe roll out Barry Manilow in the middle of that show. I thought that'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
And they push out this giant closet.
They did skew that way after the Janet Jackson. If you remember the years that followed, they were like Springsteen, McCartney.
Yeah.
That were Michael Jackson and Prince off after that, try to play a little safer.
Oh, I think they missed the opportunity, right? Because Barry Manilow coming out going, "Hey, everyone, make some noise," as he raised his hands up over his head.
You know what? I think if they did a theme of, a certain type of theme and brought him out for part of one song, I think that'd be pretty fantastic.
I agree. And they could have given a little more beat to it. They're all doing it. Right. It comes out, whatever. But I it's funny. We sit here, Steve. I don't know what your thoughts are about Barry Manilow, but we are all Barry Manilow fans. We are closeted Barry Manilow music fans. But I will tell you, this just came up. I don't know if this has come up for you guys where they go, does it bother you that he's gay, that he kept closeted? And it doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is his face looks like Jiminy Cricket. Yeah. Like, stop doing stuff to your face.
Yeah. What's scary about that is with the stretching and the Botox or whatever it is, that's got to affect the way you are able to sing or not.
Correct.
I would think if you can't close your mouth, if it stays in an oval the entire time.
Well, they said by the end of Kenny Rogers, by the end of his life, he couldn't even blink.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that'll kill you. Right there. In the Barry Manilow fandom thing. So I worked at a radio station in St. Louis, one of the many cities I've been thrown out of. And we thought it would be hysterical. I was probably 25 to do a We Hate Barry Manilow contest and give away tickets to Barry Manilow, who was doing a concert in, I don't know where in Missouri, Jefferson City, maybe. So we gave away like 3 pair of second row seats. And there were a pair of seats for the guy that was on the show with me as well. And we thought we were so funny. Well, the people that won, didn't care that we called it the We Hate Barry Manilow contest. It was women this is the 80s. So it was women then in their 30s and probably 40s. We get to the show and we go in and it's Barry Manilow fanatics. I don't know if you 3 have ever been to a Barry Manilow show. He's got some scary fans and you do not mess with them.
Right.
So we had this hilarious idea that we wouldn't have a good time. First song in, probably Copacabana, we're sort of bobbing our heads. By the time the second song starts, we're dancing, we're turning around, high-fiving people behind us. Yeah. So much for the I Hate Barry Manilow. I love Barry Manilow.
I've seen him 5 times. I used to take dates to a Barry Manilow concert. That was a thing to do. And I enjoyed the music too.
Just to keep it hip, I've also seen Snoop and Dre.
So wait, Tim, that was a date?
What
was the guy's name?
His name was Bruce. I would take women to see Barry Manilow.
Oh, I thought when you took me, I said, oh, that was a date?
Yeah, right.
I don't get it.
Where did you, Mike, where did you see Barry Manilow before?
I saw him at the, what used to be the Horizon. I forget what it's called, Allstate.
Okay.
Yeah. It was in 2017 when he did his Christmas show combined with his concert. Unbelievable. Fantastic.
And I saw him in 1980 at Poplar Creek Outdoor.
Yeah,
which is like a stone's throw from my house now.
Yeah. I saw him there. I saw him at the auditorium twice.
For those of you wondering if we're old enough to be men of a certain age, we just did 5 minutes on loving Barry Manilow.
Well, it's so many people. It's like that Family Guy sketch, where they're all sitting around on the radio, they say, Barry Manilow's coming to town. And they all start making fun of him. And then they all start saying, well, maybe he's got one good song, and then they all start naming their favorite songs. And the next thing you know, they're at his concert.
Oh, I'm telling you, that's what happened to me.
They're catchy songs.
All right. So we like to end this on, a really killer showbiz note. Big finish. You guys got anything?
Kind of hard to follow Barry Manilow.
Yeah, really.
I don't know how you do that.
I just think we should talk about the.
It would be a miracle. It's just.
I don't have anything. All right, so John, one more time for the plug for the show. Sunday, February 20th.
Sunday, February 27 o'clock. All you have to do, if you're a listener, go to Zanies.com, click on Rosemont. There was a code word. It's just called Rage, and you will get a free ticket to come see us on Sunday and our taping of our Men of a Certain Rage that then will go on to, what'd you call it, Steve? A sizzle reel? Or sizzle reel?
Sizzle reel.
So on our website.
Our national tour of this show.
Yeah.
And based on advanced ticket sales, that could be in a week or two.
Well, yeah, because I think, yes, because we are going to play Harold's Chicken a week from Sunday in the.
But the big room.
I'm looking forward to
the big room.
That holds 11 people, so we should do well there. Is there any Harold Chickens left, Mike?
Oh yeah, they're all over the place. We have one in Frankfurt, like right down the road from us.
Yeah, really?
I love it. Oh yeah, they're all over the city too.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought there was one in Bolingbrook, but I think it closed.
There was, but that one's not there anymore.
Yeah, I haven't been in a long time.
But, it's the best.
So
it's real simple, Steve.
I was looking for the big ending. We got.
I know that was.
Can I do a plug?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thursday, the 24th of February.
Yes.
The H Foundation presents comedy to help raise money for cancer research and to find out more about that show, go to hfoundation.org.
Yeah, and they're good people. They're good people. I was around for some of those early fundraisers. There was someone that worked at Horton's Lighting who they loved, who they lost to cancer when she was only in her 40s, I believe. And they started this foundation and they've raised tons of money and the fight continues.
Yeah, and it's a great, and that's at the Tivoli where we've done several of our New Year's Eve shows, Steve. It's a beautiful old theater downtown Downers Grove. Mike Toomey, our good friend Andrea Darlis is on that too. Tim will be there. Tim is going to be producing that show. How about that? Rocky Laporte will also be on the show.
Tell jokes. Stand there. Move. Go over there.
Yeah.
Tim's going to play the organ, right? Are you going to play the organ?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And he'll be Man of a Certain Rage.
Exactly. And Steve, I have a plug too.
Okay.
You can watch this video broadcast on CNN Saturday night, right after Lisa Ling.
All right. Well, I had no idea, but I appreciate you striking that deal.
You're welcome.
That's very good. Very good. You've been listening to a special after-school edition of Men of a Certain Rage, the first of many, 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 many cheap plugs to come. And we look forward to seeing you Sunday night, February 20th at Zanies in Rosemont, Zanies.com. Click on the Rosemont location, and February 20th, get your tickets right there. Or get freebies, John. One more time. How do they get the freebies?
One more time, Zanies.com. Click on Rosemont. Men of a Certain Rage, just put in the code word RAGE and you get free tickets. How about that?
Pretty good.
That is pretty good.
It's no Barry Manilow or Snoop Dogg and Dre show, but it's pretty good. So thank you, boys.
Thank you,
Steve.
If you're purchasing a new home, refinancing your existing home, securing a VA loan or reverse mortgage, do what I have always done when I needed help with my home and money. I call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Rachel, a first-time home buyer, asked her dad, Doug, for mortgage advice. Doug recommended Rachel contact the only lender he trusted, Team Hochberg. Rachel found a home, but decided to contact her realtor's preferred lender. Not a good idea. It's a bad move. And Rachel didn't appreciate the unresponsiveness of her realtor's preferred lender, so she contacted Team Hochberg. Now, she should have done that in the first place, but the good news is David answered Rachel's questions, responded to all her inquiries, and helped her secure the mortgage she needed on her first home. So let's review. Rachel was disregarded and frankly blown off and taken for granted by her realtor's preferred lender, while Team Hochberg helped her secure the mortgage she needed for her first home. Team Hochberg has helped me, my family, my listeners, thousands of podcast listeners, kids and grandkids everywhere, all to secure financing when they purchase a home. And it's just like they helped Rachel. But they can't do it if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID or 56david.com. And don't forget to tune in to Home Sweet Home in Chicago, hosted by David Hochberg, Saturday mornings at 10 on AM 720 WGN. Homeside Financial is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 1124061.
30 years plus on the airwaves. You have turned your dial to me. Now you're tuned into my podcast. It's live from my office, Steve. From Ithaca, New York to Carolina South, W. Cochran Steve. From Minneapolis and then Chicago twice, top-rated shows achieved. Sit back, relax, and now listen to my show. When or wherever you are, 'cause you're on the go. A-list celebs with some laughs and great info. Live from my office, the Steve Cochran Podcast Show. Yeah. No better place to be. Yeah. Subscribe and like for free. Yeah. Live from my office, Steve. So glad you're with me. It's live from my office, Steve.
Thank you for listening to Live from My Office, a service of Monkey Run Productions. All rights reserved. The podcast is hosted by Steve Cochran, and it's mixed, edited, and produced by me, Ross Cochran. Support the show by subscribing wherever you're listening and by telling your friends about it. Follow Steve on all social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and make sure you check out this episode's show notes for relevant information discussed during the conversations. You can also email the show directly at thecochranshow@gmail.com with any questions or comments, and that's the best place to tell us about your favorite nonprofit so we can make sure we mention them on the next episode. Steve is available for corporate speaking gigs. He would love to MC your event, and occasionally, he's funny. Thank you for listening. Head to cochranshow.com for more.